Imagine I did my videos like this. You can't see my eyes. Are you gonna judge me? There are two types of people really that are very judgmental. One is the person who's projecting. So, for example, they will call you weird because they are afraid of being perceived as weird or whatever else, it tells you more about them than it tells you about you. It's not really like they're making a proper observation about you. It's more like they see a hint of something and then it triggers them and it triggers their own insecurities, and they feel like they have to attack that because by default that makes them feel like they're removed from this, like, oh, you are like this, you are like this. They want to kind of, their ego is kind of trying to give a false sense of security and confidence by disowning that fact, right? It's like, oh, this person is actually the weird one, not me. Indirectly speaking, obviously that's all like it's nothing that people are aware of, but that's what's happening. And the other type who's very judgmental is people where I feel like that's more dangerous. People who are manipulative. So either they get a kick out of controlling you. For example, they want to tell you something so that you alter your behavior, and they will feel in power because they made you alter your behavior. Or they could be just a bit leaning towards more the sadistic side of life, where they feel like they enjoy your reaction, they enjoy affecting you in any type of way, really. So regardless of if you change or not, they just like winding you up, So how do we make people stop doing that, right? Well, first of all, for the second, more dangerous kind, you really need to have strong boundaries. And I know this is something that's getting old because everybody keeps saying that. But for example, if somebody says something about me that I know is not true, I don't really feel the need, like maybe I will defend myself slightly, like I will just say, I don't think that's true. But I won't like get into a proper discussion about it. I'm not going to entertain it, right? If it's not true, it's not true. I don't have to own it. I don't have to pretend like it could be a possibility. Like, no, just no, that's it, end of story. That's not fun for these people. Obviously, if we don't have confidence within ourselves, if we're not grounded within our everything, within our being, if we don't really know who we are, we're not secure in that, we're not confident in that, we're still people pleasing, then these judgments will affect you greatly. But that's something where we need to find the maturity and strength in ourselves to be able to develop to a degree where it doesn't really affect us that much. For me, what affects me more now is not what strangers think, but people that actually do know me. And if they make like it seems like they're making an observation, but it's just like random comments. It's really random comments like this, oh, you're being weird or something. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but these comments, it's kind of, it's like, it's just your energy or something. It's something that you can't really change. It's not something that's undeveloped. It's not something that's toxic or negative or anything. And then people want to comment on that, like, for what? I'm thinking to myself, well, it kind of feels like, oh, the person's meant to like you, but they actually don't. And that's obviously a hurtful thing. So I think it's harder to deal with people who are actually close to you. we can easily be hypersensitive with these people because they're so close to us, and we expect them to love us, maybe even unconditionally, because that's what we deep down seek. We seek unconditional love and acceptance and understanding, but we have to accept that we have a narcissistic side as well, and we don't want to hear anything that could be perceived as negative. But that's not reality. Like, all of us have flaws, all of us have something where it's just an observation sometimes. Sometimes people don't really think, they don't want to hurt you, they're just saying something what they perceive, and everybody perceives things differently. Some people see green as green, other people see green as red. That's just how it is, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but we do have to take that pill. But as I said, it's the same thing. Even if they like you, even if they love you, they can still have a manipulative side to them. They can still have a sadistic side to them. They can still have a messy side to them, and they're not necessarily aware of this. It doesn't excuse it. What happens if you throw it back at them, right? That's where you know if a person is actually toxic or not. And I personally don't like to have toxic people in my vicinity, in my life. I really don't want them to be in my life. Like, if somebody's toxic from time to time or makes a few comments here or there, like family members, let's say, I can entertain them from time to time, but I'm definitely not going to engage with them on a daily basis or even every other day. I can't do that. And every time somebody is like that, to be honest with you, I just remove myself. So that's the easiest way to have boundaries, is to just don't grant them access to you. There are many ways to deal with it, but obviously I'm gonna state the obvious. You can never make people stop judging you. So if you can't control other people, if you can never make them stop judging you and perceiving you in ways that can be completely wrong or not true to you, why not just take the liberty to do what the F you want? Like, and I know people who watch my channel are into thinking, deep thinking, self-development. So I'm telling this to you. I'm not telling this to a person who's like a manipulative abuser or something, like, yeah, just do what you want. I'm telling this to somebody who's a bit too sensitive, a bit too not wanting to engage in conflicts, a little bit too much of a people pleaser, perfectionist. These are the types of people usually that we are, and that's why also we want to improve ourselves a lot, because we have high standards, and we have that for ourselves and for other people as well. So if they act in a way that we find is not really, I don't know what to say, like, I don't want to say they behave badly, but it's not kind to be overly judgmental. It's not kind to make comments that are like kind of digging or kind of poking wounds. That's not a nice thing to do, even if they're not aware of it. Sometimes it's enough to make people aware of it, so you don't have to be always so serious. You can, if you don't like confrontation, you can put it in a funny way, or I don't know, like if somebody says I'm weird, I'm like, so what? That's kind of what and I noticed that a lot of people, they don't really say much anymore now. I used to get these things a lot more in the past, and the thing is, it can turn into bullying low-key if you don't have boundaries. And especially if you're very sensitive and it couples up with over emotional reactions. Even if you're a person who shuts down, people can tell. And as I said, some people find pleasure in affecting you this way. They feel very powerful when they're able to do this. So I would really try to, work on your awareness, on your breathing, everything, all of these good things, so that you are able to stand your ground. Who are these people why do they feel like they can take the liberty to do so, right? To judge you, to tell you stuff that's just not pleasant. I'm not talking about constructive criticism here. And with that also comes like being able to listen to criticism, actually, because everything can come off as judgmental if you come from a past where this is a trigger for you, right? In all, before I start rambling way too much, and please feel free to tell me what you think about this topic or your experience. All in all, we really have to own ourselves. We have to know who we are, why we are the way we are. So if anybody questions us, we have an answer. We know what it's all about. And we stand on a firm foundation as a person, right? We have our values, we have our morals, we stand with it, we keep to our word, we're real, we're authentic. And if anybody wants to comment on that in any type of way, then that's their thing. Like, yeah, they can do it if they want to. If it gets on my nerves, I'm not going to entertain it. I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to just make people aware of it. Or ask them if they would feel good if I would say that to them. These things, and doing it in a calm manner usually doesn't provoke people. But if you have like some underlying issues going on, then it also comes out a certain way where we don't really notice it comes out that way, but that can trigger other people. But if you're very secure in yourself, then it tends to have this calming effect also on others, I've noticed. Because when people, these sheep type people and NPCs and regular normies, if they're in the presence of somebody who is very confident, very grounded, they know that what they're talking about, they're not wishy-washy, they're not people-pleasing, they're not fake. People really feel comfortable with that, they feel secure being next to a person like that. And as being a woman that's like that, some people feel, intimidated. But I also noticed that they also come to me to talk about things they usually don't talk about with other people, and that happens to me a lot. And there's a security that comes with it. So sometimes people don't know how to express themselves either, right? And they were gonna say stuff like that, like, oh, you're intimidating, oh, you're arrogant, oh, you look judgment, like kind of like they feel like I'm the judgmental one because I'm very secure in myself and I'm not stressed about myself. So then they feel like, that's the thing, when you have your shit together, like properly, you can be inspiring, but also for a certain type of person, you can just simply remind them of their lack. They will feel lazy or not doing enough or whatever. And that's fact, I mean, I think it's a narcissist dream, to be very honest with you. I'm not proud of it because I find it sad. I wish that people would just be inspired and that's it. Anyhow, it's very loud. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. And yeah, it's always good to have you here. Thanks for listening. Like the video if you care. If you're not already subscribed. If you're subscribed, welcome to the family. And speak to you soon. Bye.